And we're live.
With Paranormal Spirits, a place we come to get our booze on. We talk about the booze, the things that go bump in the night. And I get to do that with all of my booze. I'm Mike Black. To my left is the lovely, delicious, and green Alyssa Black.
Greetings. I don't know what leprechauns say.
Across from me is the lovely and talented John Burkett.
Top of the morning to you.
Top of the morning to you.
Even though it's night. Top of the night to you.
Top of the night to you. So tonight we're going to talk about the top 5 hauntings in Ireland. But before we do that, let me tell you about all the places you can go to find us. And we've got 3B Paranormal Spirits, which is our YouTube channel. We have an Instagram channel. We have a TikTok channel. We have an X channel. Or I guess it's a channel. Page. And that's paranormal _ spelled out DASH _ spirits. Put it right there so you can find it. We also have a Facebook page, which is Booze with Benefits, and you can sign up on our Booze with Benefits page on Facebook and get all kinds of good notifications about what we're doing and what we're doing our shows about, milestones that we make, like the number of views, number of subscribers, that kind of stuff. We also have a website, paranormal-spirits.com, and on there you can get to all of our social media, and on top of that, you can get to our boutique store, Boozy's Boutique, where we will sell you at a very cheap price T-shirts and caps and coffee cups and mugs and Boozy's koozies to put on your water bottles and all kinds of good stuff like that. Tonight, we have several different Irish whiskeys sitting in front of us, but we all are partaking of
Jameson Black Barrel.
Thank you.
They're all worth drinking. Well, Jameson would be a great addition to anybody's St. Patrick's Day margarita.
That's like a standard Irish whiskey everybody needs to have in their
It goes down a little too easy.
Mm-hmm.
Jameson Black Barrel is very nice to sip on, as well as Bushmill's Prohibition recipe.
Prohibition recipe I love. That's as far as an Irish whiskey, Bushmills I do not like as a rule. This one, the Prohibition recipe, the limited edition, whatever, it's not very limited. You can still get it everywhere. So I don't know where they came up with limited, but I think that's one of the better.
I wonder if it's one of those things that they were going to do limited and then it became very popular and
they changed their mind.
Maybe. You know how people put limited on things just to make it.
It could be
people to get it, thinking it's going to go away, and then it actually doesn't.
Yeah, and it could be.
It's way better than regular Bushmills.
Man, isn't it? Plus, it has all kinds of cool stuff about the Shelbys and Tommy Shelby. There's a quote on the back.
It's a Peaky Blinders edition.
Yeah. Whiskey's good proof in water. Tells you who's real and who isn't. Tommy Shelby.
And
it's 92
his
proof.
little face is on the front too. Isn't
Yeah,
it where he's pointed down his little
peaky cap.
You seen Oppenheimer yet?
No, but I want to. I keep seeing it when we go on to Peacock, and I'm like, I want to watch that.
He's naked in a couple of scenes.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hello.
There you go, babe.
Opposite
Tom Shelby.
almost exclusively naked Florence Pugh in every one of those scenes that she's in. She's naked in 60% of her scenes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, everyone go bra. Salancha.
She has a crush on Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy?
Cillian Murphy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I could just watch Peaky Blinders over and never get to see his pretty eyes.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, see scrawny naked butt in Oppenheimer.
Listen.
I need to get the cat litter for you.
Listen. Those eyes.
He got it, don't he, babe? All right.
Chiseled jaw.
So, let's talk about, we're drinking our BOOZE. Let's talk about the BOOS.
Are we starting with number 5?
Number 5. Five. Yeah. I need some sound effects in there.
You do.
Maybe I can find some of those. Let's talk about the Hellfire Club. So, very near Dublin, close enough to see, there's a hill called Montpellier, or Montpellier, or however you want to pronounce it. What'd be another pronunciation? What's the Americanized version
Montpellier.
of that? Montpellier.
Like Bill Montpellier, Vermont.
Yeah, okay. So, this is, I think we discussed before the actual recording, and John said it was probably named by the Normans.
Yeah, after the Norman conquest, after they conquered England, and then they moved on to Ireland.
Right.
And so
you think they named it then?
Well, you see a lot of names of Irish nobility that have French, that are partly French, and that's because of the Normans. So,
okay. So what do you think? Is it Montpellier or Montpellier?
I'm sure that the French would say Montpellier.
Montpellier. Montpellier.
But in Ireland, they probably just say Montpellier.
Okay. So we'll call it Montpellier. And this is a hill that's overlooking Dublin. Up at the very top of this hill, way back when, there was a cairn. And they don't really know when the cairn got there because it's like ancient.
It's probably Neolithic.
Mm-hmm. That means a really long time ago, right?
Newer than the Paleolithic.
Okay.
That means it's old. Like,
right, I got it.
It's 3,000 years old, probably.
So there's this 3,000
4,000 year old, whatever,
cairn on top of this mountain, and then comes along William Connolly. Now, William Connolly was one of the wealthiest men in Ireland, also the Speaker of the Irish House of Commons. That's a mouthful. He comes along and he decides he wants to build a hunting lodge at this site in 1725. So Connolly is said to have destroyed the cairn while building the lodge. And
that's a bad idea. It's going to let that vampire that's underneath there out. The Abertag's going to come and get your ass.
This is an Ardbeg or Abertag or whoever. So anyway, did your handcuffs come undone? Because that's what it sounded like. It sounded like you Superman the handcuffs or something. Oh, I know. You hit the thing. So Connolly comes along, 1725, and he destroys a cairn while building the lodge, and he ends up using one of the grave's standing stones as a lintel for his fireplace. And no, not the peas.
Those aren't, they're not peas. They're legumes, I guess.
Or beans or whatever.
It's the favorite food of vegan weirdos.
Yeah, it's not. Because we didn't just get canceled by vegan weirdos who listen to us. So.
You know, I've tried to like lentils, and I'm not a huge fan. And also not to be confused with a mantle.
It is not a mantle. It is a lintel.
It's a lintel.
If you have cooked with those little tiny circular pastas, and it's okay that way.
So y'all don't trust me on the lintel thing. So what I'm going to do is in the video, I'm going to have a picture of a lintel.
Well, just explain it.
Example.
Just explain it.
So it is
It goes over an arch.
It goes over a doorway or across the top of a fireplace.
Okay.
Not a mantle. Okay. What it does is it goes over, it's a support that goes across the top, and then that way you can stack stones around it, but it's that long piece that makes the whole stretch.
Okay.
I think if I visualize the way that's constructed with stones, I get it. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's called a lintel. That's its proper name.
But I did. So I made that lintel, just off topic, but about the vegan lentils. I made a
Fagioli type?
I made a stew or soup, right, with lentils and what is it, ditalini pasta, right?
Okay.
But just to make sure that I give a big finger to the vegans, I use chicken stock.
Oh my gosh.
I said, I'm not making anything that's purely...
Throw some chickpeas.
I'm not using vegetable stock in this. I'm using chicken stock.
Okay.
You're pro animal, we see.
Some bacon would have really set it off. But anyway.
Right.
That's not approved on the diet.
Okay. Getting back to the story.
Lintel cairn.
After Connolly's death, the lodge was sold, and it is said to have become a meeting place for the Irish Hellfire Club. And it's a club that was founded in 1735 by Richard Parsons, a man known for dabbling in black magic. Its members met at locations across Dublin and were known for their amoral behavior. That means without morals.
Immoral behavior.
Not immoral.
Amoral. None. No morals.
No morals.
Not even good or bad, just none.
Right. And over time, the lodge gained a reputation for being a hotbed of hedonism, sex, debauchery, and alleged occult practices.
I love the way you said
sex.
Sex.
I mean, I know clubs in South Dallas like this. You know, you don't have to go all the way to Ireland to find that. But anyway, membership in the Hellfire Club was highly exclusive. Only the very wealthy and influential were permitted to join. It was the elite of the elite. And I think of like Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut, those parties that Tom Cruise went to, you know. That's what I think of. It's only the most elite got to go to this. And there was a lot of secrecy that surrounded the club, which caused speculation that the members were Satanists and devil worshippers. The president of this club was named the King of Hell, and during their meetings dressed like Satan. Horns, wings, hooves, the works. The members also were said to set a place at each meeting. What are you doing?
My neck hurts. I'm sorry.
You're going crooking your neck at me like you're
I was trying to
acting all weird and shit. So
I'm sorry.
I thought you were possessed there for a minute. I was going to get the holy water out.
King of Hell.
So anyway, they would set a place for the devil at every meeting, and in hopes that he would attend the meetings. They also held members were professed to have held
It's a heater.
black masses at this lodge, where they sacrificed small animals, and reportedly even some of them sacrificed their servants. So they had human sacrifices there.
Yeah.
At one point, the lodge was set on fire, and some think that they did this so that it would have a more hellish atmosphere about it.
Wouldn't it burn down?
Did they say, didn't it just...
Well, you'd have to see it. It's not like a wooden structure. So
basically they lit it on fire, but it didn't burn it down. It was just for effects.
Correct.
Okay.
So one tale that revolves around a card game where the devil himself shows up, and according to legend, a stranger walks up on the club one night. They invite him in for a game of cards. Then one of the players accidentally drops a card off the table, and when he bends over to pick up the card, he looks under the table, and the stranger had cloven hooves instead of feet. So they think the devil showed up. Another tale, and I don't know what it is with card games in these Irish hauntings, but there's like a card game in every haunting. Another tale of a card game ended in tragedy. A stranger shows up, same thing, gets in there, starts playing cards, and they accuse him of cheating. So he takes off running. So maybe he was cheating, I don't know. But struck by lightning as soon as he ran out of the building. So
Karma.
Yeah, I guess.
Probably because of all that devil stuff they're doing.
I know shit, right? So he runs out, and then so his ghost is said to haunt there now, even to this day. So another popular tale concerns a young farmer who was curious, and he said, wonder what goes on up there. Everybody talks about this place. I want to go see about some of that sex and debauchery. And he climbs up Montpelier Hill, and invited in by the members and allowed to witness the night's activities. The next day, the young man was found wandering around, trembling, terrified, never able to speak for the rest of his life, and couldn't even remember his own name. So, terrified to death.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So...
Sounds like he was tampered with.
I'd say.
They might have tampered with him just a bit. But anyway, visitors to the site claim that they find cold spots, whispers in the darkness, unexplained shadows, an inexplicable feeling of being watched. Of course, skeptics dismiss all this as BS. There have been multiple investigations there, I think.
Zach and the gang?
Yeah.
They've been there.
And who was the other one?
Josh Gates.
Mm-hmm.
Expedition Unknown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he went there. So this place evidently is really pretty in the daytime. And there's a couple of different hiking trails that the Dublin Mountains Partnership recommends. And the first one is 3.5 miles. And evidently it's pretty strenuous, but it's called the Hellfire Loop, Forest Loop. And then the less strenuous 2.5 mile Montpelier Loop.
That's the one I would take.
Yeah, me too. I wouldn't want
the less strenuous one.
The less strenuous. I'm going with less strenuous every time. Going to opt for that one. And anyway, you get to the
do the less strenuous.
You get to the top, and they say during the daytime it's beautiful, and you can look out and you can see Dublin and all that. However, at nighttime, people report all these unusual smells and just a strange electric atmosphere. Traces of satanic rituals have been discovered, or so they say. So that's the Hellfire Club.
What does that mean, traces of satanic ritual?
Like pentagrams drawn.
Oh, you mean modern, like kids going up there?
Yeah.
The heavy metal kids going up there.
Pentagrams and, candles and, sacrificed virgins on altars.
Zach and them, they brought some kind of witch or something in there and did some dumb stuff.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Did they produce a demon?
I don't remember.
Zach always finds a demon.
Well, obviously. There's also some...
Zach and the Warrens, they always find demons.
It's
always a demon.
There's a room there where they have like a couple of wax figures or mannequins set up to look like sitting at a card table or something. And
Ooh.
I remember that scared the hell out of Aaron, probably, if I remember correctly. And because they weren't warned.
That would be kind of creepy, to be honest.
And they of course made Aaron go into this little sealed cage
Always.
where they locked him up.
Oh, of course
himself.
they did. Yeah. Because it's Aaron, and it's what Zach does to Aaron.
He really abuses him.
He really is. He picks on
him a lot.
Okay, number 4 is Duckett's Grove. I had never heard of that until I started researching this stuff. And this is in the heart of County Carlow in Ireland. It is a 2-story crumbling building that... I don't want to call it a castle because it's not that big, but it is 2 stories, and there's these towers sticking. I'll put pictures up, but there's towers coming off of it. And so in 1830, the owner, William Duckett, took this 2-story house, basically, and turned it into this Gothic fantasy. And it has all these regal arches and neo-Gothic art in it. Grotesques were added to make it more... Gothic looking.
Was that like gargoyle? What is that?
Yeah, I guess it's statues and such in it. It's a pretty imposing looking structure when you see it. It's pretty cool looking. Like I say, I'll put pictures up. Anyway, in 1933 there was a catastrophic fire at this place, and one of the guys died in there. So you've got that, but probably the most talked about notorious part of this was the Duckett's Grove Banshee. So we're finally doing a Banshee. We've never done a Banshee or talked about a Banshee on the show.
How many times can you say Banshee?
Banshee,
well, you just said it again. So, so in this instance, the Banshee. There's another one. Are you keeping a score?
Okay.
I'll have to put a count up on the screen. It's the result of a pishog. You ever heard of a pishog? John?
No.
Okay. A pishog is spelled P-I-S-E-O with a little line. G. It's a curse that was placed on the house and the family to bring about death, despair, and financial ruin. And this particular curse was cast by the angry, grieving mother of a young girl who had been having an affair with William Duckett and was riding on the estate on a horse when she fell. She died. So for 2 days after her death, after the curse was placed, people could hear this shrieking banshee that was going through this place, and everybody that heard it suffered either some kind of family tragedy or fatality. There's a recorded incident of a woman dropping dead on the grounds in the garden when she was working out there. She heard the banshee. Another woman found her mother dead the following morning after hearing the banshee. Voices of servants have distinctly been heard working in what formerly was the kitchen. Now, this is in recent times. Ghostly apparitions walking around. A horse and carriage roll up to the entrance every now and then. Disembodied voices banging, floating balls of light, spectral shadows are just some of the things that happen there. And there is also the ghost of William Duckett himself riding a horse that they see out on the grounds of the place.
Interesting.
And one particular legend involves the spirit of a former caretaker who actually died in the fire. And they say that you can see him walking around. It's a ghost, obviously, but he's carrying a light, like he's guarding the place, and he's still walking around.
So did the fire destroy the whole thing?
Mm-mm.
So is it?
But he died in the fire.
Is it habitable? Like, can you stay?
You can visit it still, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You can't stay there. You can just go visit.
Yeah, and it's in bad shape, regardless. I mean, it's not.
Okay.
It's not like pristine or anything, but you can still go there.
You'd be camping.
Yeah, and it
with a stone
still draws a crowd. Paranormal enthusiasts, historians, just curious folks that want to come see it. And they say when you're walking around, you can hear the wind whispering through the trees, and you can still hear the whispers of the ghosts there. So it's pretty interesting. That's number 4. Number 3, Loftus Hall. And a Loftus Hall was this large mansion. It's located along the Hook Peninsula, and this goes back several centuries. The original hall was built in 1350 by the Redmond family during the time of the Black Death. That's the plague, babe.
Excuse me.
Well, you're not as old as we are.
Bubonic.
I do know all of those.
Bubonic
Supersonic, hydroponic, bubonic, chronic.
It was known as Redmond Hall until 1650s when it was given to English planters, the Loftus family. And from then on, it was known as Loftus Hall. The building still stands today, heavily renovated between 1872 and 1879.
It's in County Wexford, by the way.
Thank you. In preparation for a visit for from Her Majesty Queen Victoria. So that's how long ago that was.
I love how they renovated it for the Queen to come.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the visit never happened, and the Loftus family were left with this huge debt because they had, restored this place and carried out all the renovations. And the last surviving Loftus family member passed away in 1890, and the bankrupt estate was put up for sale. Over the subsequent years, I am having such a hard time talking. The building served as home for the Benedictine nuns, a school for girls, the Sisters of Providence, and at one point even became the Loftus Hall Hotel, which closed in the early 1900s. Now, in 2011, the house was sold to its current owners. You're going to love this, John. The Quigley family.
Down under.
Guess where they were from?
Australia, Mike.
No, I don't know.
From America. Quigley was from America, and he went to Australia with his long barrel, sharp single shot rifle.
Yeah, I didn't look up where he
actually came from. The 80s.
But it was the Quigley family, and so anyway, has secured the structure. They're rebuilding the walled gardens, the courtyard, to ensure that future generations get to appreciate the Loftus Hall.
So can you stay there? I mean, you said 2011.
It looks livable in this photograph. There's a photograph on the Wikipedia page, and it looks inhabitable. I mean,
pretty.
Yeah, it's big.
So,
did you know that was attacked Loftus Hall in 1642 was attacked by English soldiers loyal to Charles I of England.
I did not. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So one of the eerie stories that stuck with Loftus Hall for all these years, according to legend, on a stormy night, a stranger approached Loftus Hall on horseback and was invited in by the Tottenham family who were living there at the time.
English.
Okay.
Tottenham's, yeah.
Makes sense. The young lady, Lady Anne Tottenham, became enchanted by this stranger.
Norman English, they go way back. Sorry.
And so they're talking, they're playing cards. And this is the same as the other story where the card falls off the table.
Yep.
She bends over and she sees that this stranger who had rode up on horseback to her house.
Actually rode himself because he had hooves.
He did have hooves. Cloven hooves.
I have heard of this.
Oh, you have?
I've heard of Loftus Hall.
This you're talking the stranger, and then they're like a card. Didn't invite him in. There's a card game or something.
Yeah,
I do know this story. I have seen this somewhere.
So when she sees that he has these cloven hooves instead of feet, the stranger shoots through the roof straight up in a ball of flames.
Like just propels himself straight up.
Straight up, like a Roman candle, I guess, because he turned into a ball of flame. And they were never able to repair the roof. Okay, so here's where it gets weird. So, Lady Anne Tottenham, of English descent. Tottenham. She, this drives her crazy. It drives her wild. She loses her mind. They lock her away in the tapestry room. And she stays there in her state of mental distress until she passes away. Her servants find her in this room in a state, and I'm throwing up air quotes, in a state of unnatural decay.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
So she had not decayed.
Yeah, unnatural decay.
Unnatural decay. So she's not decaying, reinforcing the belief that she had made a pact
Sold her soul to the
night.
devil.
Mm-hmm.
As he shot up through the roof.
She probably was seduced by him.
Probably.
With springs in his hooves.
Yeah.
Spring-heeled
Jack.
Spring-heeled Jack, different thing, but yeah, that's from England.
Yeah, so the servants and family members reported seeing her ghost wander through the house. Also, they would hear children playing and running around the house and laughing and all that, and the story is that it's her offsprings that had passed and now are there with her at the house. And it's been open to the public since 2012. And many of the visitors that come there had this feeling that somebody's watching them. They see the ghosts. Lots of all kinds of unexplainable things happen.
So it is habitable.
There.
You can stay there.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how open it is, but you can go there.
Surely they repaired the roof.
I don't know. I'm sure they did.
So there was a card game, yeah, and a partially depicted documentary film made by Waterford band Rick Whelan was released in 1993 as The Legend of Loftus Hall. The film details the story, dramatizing certain parts, such as the card game with actors. Yep.
Interesting.
I've also seen this investigated by someone.
I had heard,
but I can't remember
Loftus Hall.
Me too, but I don't know where from.
I know who's that great podcast? Was it? I'm trying to think of their name. The one with the skeleton on it. It's got the skeleton head. We follow it as a podcast. I'll have to look. I don't have my phone on me when we're recording, but I'll have to look. No, I'll add that in there at the bottom or in the description or something.
You want me to look?
Mm-hmm. So, number 2 is the White Lady of Charles Fort in Cork, Ireland. So, you know what this is, right? Because anytime you have the White Lady, it's always...
The skeleton head?
Anytime you get the white lady, she always wants to talk to the manager.
We're not talking about Karens.
Let's say Karens?
No, we're not talking about Karens. So, the White Lady of Charles Fort.
Astonishing Legends. They have a great podcast episode about Loftus Hall. Maybe that's where I've seen it or heard of it.
I've seen something. Maybe it was, there's a series on.
So shout out to Astonishing Legends, because those guys, they really do an amazing job on all their research and everything and presenting. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
There's a series on, it's on if you have Max or the Discovery Plus thing on your Amazon. There's a season of it called It's Ghost of Scotland, and then there's a season of Ghost of Ireland where they have a team that go around to different locations. I've seen something done in this place before. It could have been Zach and the gang, because they did go to. I've been to Ireland a few times.
I have saw something about Loftus Hall, and it being associated with the Hellfire Club, and it being one of the places where they met.
Is it nearby?
I don't know.
I wonder. I don't know my geography with Ireland
for that, but
they did. Yeah, Ghost Adventures been there. Yep, Zach's been there.
Okay, so
I'm sorry. Number 2. What is it?
Number 2 is the White Lady of Charles Fort in Cork. So this Charles Fort is perched majestically. It says, and I'm reading right from my notes. Perched majestically on the shores of the River Lee in Cork. Charles Fort stands as a sentinel to centuries of Irish history. And so it was built in the 17th century. Charles Fort played a crucial role in defending the coastline against invasions. Strategically positioned at the entrance of Kinsale Harbor, making it an important stronghold for the British Army. Star-shaped, and which was a common feature for military forts back then, because it gave you multiple points,
multiple angles of coverage. Yeah,
right. So that was pretty common for that time, and it allowed for increased protection, better sight lines. It was actually named after King Charles II of England, who commissioned its construction. So over the years, Charles Fort witnessed numerous conflicts and sieges, including the Williamite War. Remember that one? Williamite? No?
I'm not sure about that one.
Vegemite?
Yeah. In the late 17th century, and the Irish War of Independence in the early 20th century.
I know that one.
About that one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so all these legends date back to the 17th century when Charles Fort was a bustling military stronghold, and they were very busy. So the White Lady of Kinsale is said to have stalked the battlements of Charles Fort, where her father, Commander Colonel Warrender, killed her husband on their wedding night. But there's quite a twist to this. So the Willful was her name. Willful Warrender fell in love with an officer there who was serving, Sir Trevor Ashert, and they decided to get married. Beautiful love story. According to the story, Willful saw some flowers that she liked on the battlement, and Sir Trevor wanted to climb down to pick some for her. This is on the night of their wedding. So he's going to climb down there, this officer. So a guard that was on duty said, "Oh, no, sir, I'll take care of it. You're an officer. I'm a lowly, enlisted man. So I'll climb down there and I'll get him." So Sir Trevor stepped in to act as guard while the guard went down and picked the flowers for his wife, new wife, that night, evening. And while he's sitting there, Sir Trevor goes to sleep. He's tired. He's sitting in the guard's place, and he goes to sleep on the guard post. Willful's father did his nightly inspection, and he's walking around, and he sees a guard asleep on duty.
Oh
no. Yeah. So he sees him asleep on duty, and he comes over, and he is known for enforcing a strict military code, and he shot the guard through the heart.
Oh, no.
Only realizing afterwards that it was his brand new son-in-law that he had shot.
Oops.
Oopsie.
Oh my goodness.
Willful was so full of grief.
She jumped.
She threw herself from the ramparts into the ice cold water and of Kinsale Bay, or I guess it's Bay, yeah. And she died. So her father, who had lost his daughter and his son-in-law, whom he loved as well,
that he shot,
and he shot him. Took the pistol and unalived himself.
Good gracious! This poor family just lost 3 folks.
Unalived himself because he was so distraught with grief because he had killed...
Guilt.
Yeah. He had killed his son-in-law, and his daughter subsequently died because she unalived herself. And so they say that the white lady, because she's all dressed in white from her wedding, her presence is often felt around the old chapel within Charles Fort. And she always is seen with a veil over her face. She's obscured. You can't see her face. And one of the most terrifying accounts is of this officer who was working at the fort. And this was back in 1922. It was a medical officer who was stationed there at the fort. And he was staying in one of the rooms. And he suddenly awoken by a chilling presence. That's what he said. Before he realizes what was happening, he's getting drug out of his room, thrown down the stairs, a flight of stairs, by a young robed woman. He sustains a few injuries from the fall. He said, but what shook him to his core was the knowledge that he had come face to face with the vengeful spirit of the white lady herself. I thought it was kind of cool. You never hear of these white ladies, the brides who lose their husband who never comes back from sea. You don't hear them attacking people, but I guess she was pissed, and so okay, that was number 2. Now number 1.
By the way, just to put it,
yeah,
I did Williamite War. It's part of the 9 Years War, though. I didn't really.
That's 7.
No, 9 Years War, different one. This was Battle of Boyne, which you probably heard of, one of those famous battles in Irish history. I stood William of Orange, the new Dutch king of and Protestant king of England, against the supporters of James II, the Irish Catholic, not Irish, but the former Catholic king.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Protestants won. So Bushmills.
The Bushmills.
The Protestant whiskey.
Catholic whiskey, Jameson. Okay. So, number 1.
I love Peaky Blinders.
Number 1, this is Leap Castle.
Leap? L-E?
L-E-A-P.
It's spelled
T.
Leap.
L-E-A-P. Leap Castle. Leap Castle is probably the most haunted castle in Ireland. And I know there's been lots of people that have been there to investigate this. It is located 6 kilometers north of the town of Roscrea, Ireland. It's...
That's County Offaly.
Yes, it is County Offaly. You're right.
I don't know where
Which
that
I
is.
believe that's where Tullamore Dew is distilled, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, okay.
So we need to go visit.
Okay.
How far is that from Dublin?
I don't
know. Not far looking at the map.
But,
you take a left at Dublin.
It's just Ireland. I mean, it's probably the size of Texas, right?
I doubt it's even that.
I think it's smaller than that.
Yeah, I know, I'm being silly. But, so, Leap Castle is located in the town of Roscrea. It was built in the 15th century in the county of Offaly by the O'Bannon family. Who
That's
built
Irish.
It. Yeah, just a little. They built it for the ruling clan of the O'Carrolls. The Earl of Kildare once tried to seize the castle in 1513, but was unsuccessful. Attacked the castle again after 3 years, partially demolishing it. The O'Carrolls got the castle back in 1557. So this thing there's lots of battles there. It's going back and forth, and has a long, bloody history.
The site has been occupied since at least 500 BC-ish.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's old. There was a fierce rivalry in the O'Carroll clan, and there was a bitter fight against brothers. One of the brothers was a priest, and he was holding mass for some of his family members while he was there. And another brother bursts through the door and plunges a sword into his brother. The priest died, and the chapel is now called the Bloody Chapel. So there's all kinds of stuff that goes on here. And like I say, everybody's been there. During the castle's renovation, they found a dungeon where people were locked away to die at the bottom of a shaft. In this dungeon, there were spikes poking up. And when they cleaned it out, there were 3 cartloads. I don't know how big a cart is, but
I figure that's a wheelbarrow.
Oh, yeah. A big wheelbarrow. 3 cartloads, check this out, of human bones.
Yeah.
And a pocket watch was also found there.
Oh, nice.
Today, the dungeon is covered, and it's keeping people away from it. So in 1991, the castle went into ownership of Sean Ryan, and I don't think it's the podcaster, but it's Sean Ryan, and it's undergoing restoration works to bring the castle back to its previous glory.
So Zach and the gang have been there, and Taps have been there.
Yeah, I knew Taps had been there.
Zach and the gang were there for their 10th season Halloween special.
Oh, really? So it's supposed to be mega haunted. And so some of the ghosts of Lep Castle. So you have it.
Nice. Like the clown, Pennywise?
Not the clown Pennywise, no.
Just it.
It's called It.
Okay.
Okay. So numerous people were imprisoned and executed in the castle. And it said that one of the reasons why the castle is haunted and most terrifying beings which reside in the castle is called It. It's a small creature about the size of a sheep, has a decaying face, and it is believed that when it, air quotes, appears, it is accompanied by the smell of sulfur and the smell of a decaying corpse.
Nope.
Gross.
So there's It. Then you have the Elemental. The Elemental is Elementals are these beings, entities, whatever.
Like a forest spirit or
forest spirit. They're not necessarily, they're not demons, they're not angels, they're not anything. They predate all that, but they're these entities. And so when the castle was transferred to the Darbys, a family that owned the castle at one time, Mildred Darby dabbled in the occult, as it was the fashion in the day. And it is widely believed that Mildred's dabbling in the occult is what resulted in the awakening of this elemental. Mildred Darby even wrote about her frightening ordeal back in 1909. She was standing at the gallery when she felt somebody put a hand on her shoulder. When she looked, she saw a thing about the size of a sheep and a gaunt, inhuman face. It has black cavities for eyes, and it has the smell of a decomposing corpse. And the Darbys remained in the castle until 1922.
All these decomposing corpse smell things.
Mm-hmm. So you have the priest house. So you see the shadows wandering around the priest's house. It's been an empty shell since the burning in 1922.
Irish Civil War.
Yeah. And a burly man has been seen pushing a heavy barrel up the stairs. This is really weird. This is almost like Greek mythology here, but he pushes the barrel up the stairs, and when he gets to the top, the barrel rolls down, and the man and the barrel both disappear. So then you have the murder hole room. There is a murder hole room called the muckle hole room. A blood stain on the floor of the room, and it's said that the man who was stabbed to death by his brother and the brothers quarreled over ownership of the castle, which is the same story that is associated with the priest there. So you have the Red Lady. She's been encountered by many people. The story of the Red Lady is that she's a ghost woman captured and snuggled by the O'Carrolls. She got pregnant as a result of the snuggle, and the O'Carrolls killed the baby, and in despair, she killed herself. The Red Lady has been seen carrying a dagger in her hand and raising it menacingly as if wanting to stab someone.
Jeez.
Yeah, she's pissed. And then you have the young girl ghosts. You have 2 young girls that have been seen, heard, and playing in Lep Castle. Visitors often see them playing in the hall, running up and down the stairs, and they are called Emily and Charlotte. Emily died at the age of 11 when she fell from the battlements. Many people have seen her ghost falling from the castle and disappearing before hitting the ground. Charlotte has been seen dragging her deformed legs behind her. So, that's number 1. The most haunted castle in Ireland, Lep Castle.
This is a very large castle.
Yeah. Yeah, it's large. It's not tiny. But you think of castles, you don't think of small places. You think of large places. But anyway, Lep Castle. So that's the most haunted. And if I'm wrong, let me know. I mean, maybe you know about some place that's more haunted than Lep, or Leap, as we want to say in the U.S., because it's spelled L-E-A-P.
Any place with a dungeon with spikes in the floor that has 3
creepy,
cartloads of bones that come out of it, and a wristwatch, of course, then it's got to be haunted. I mean, come on.
Well, and it's like we always talked about, we want to go to visit in these places in Europe because, in the United States,
we can't even fathom something that's been there since 500 BC.
Well, I mean
the grounds.
There are some Native American sites that are pretty old.
Well, yeah, Native American, but I mean, as far as
castles and structures,
like for here, we didn't start forming.
Something's 300 years old.
We didn't start
old
forming
here.
Cities and states here in the U.S. until, 1600s, I guess.
I mean, the Spanish were here in the 1500s.
Were they 15?
1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. By the 1500s, they were all over Mexico and Texas. And, they were establishing missions. Yeah, they were.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I was
it goes back a long way.
Like last week, I was in Delaware, which was the first state for the United States, and I was looking at some of the dates on some of the buildings there, and I'm like, oh my God, you don't think about it back in the 1600s.
Well, most places in America are not. Like, you can go to Mexico and some of South America and have your, Mayan and those kinds of ruins and what have you. But in terms of like castles, like that's
ancient.
What people say.
Ancient. We don't have ancient here.
That's what people say when they go over to Europe from
John Ryan lives in this place.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, he plays the tin whistle. He's a musician. He's a famous Irish musician who plays the tin whistle.
It was always so hard to find. Like, when I was playing in the clubs and stuff, it was always so hard to find a tin whistle player.
Isn't it? Well, not in Ireland. I would imagine it's easier.
Yeah, I mean, drummers are like a dime a dozen, but tin whistle players, they're hard to find.
He looks like a guy who'd live in
So up there with bagpipers?
Oh, he does, doesn't he? He looks like...
I'm sure tin whistles and bagpipers are as common as drummers and guitarists around here.
Maybe. I don't know.
There he's playing a tin whistle.
He looks like...
So I would...
an old
Ireland
painter.
Is on my bucket list.
Absolutely.
Here's the problem. I don't have enough money to go to Ireland and spend as much time as I want to spend there to see all the different places. So I would have to do this in like stages and multiple trips.
You could sell some watches.
Bite your damn tongue, woman.
You still got to know you got to know what time it is when you're in Ireland.
Absolutely.
He's got enough timepieces that he can figure it out. I guarantee you.
Bite your tongue.
There's a lot of places. I mean, I would love Ireland, Scotland.
both of those should just be on a joint.
How about
some places in England?
Hey, I got a woman's omega.
Listen here. I knew this was
Start
coming.
by selling that first.
Isn't there ladies' tutor as well?
A ladies' tutors in there.
You go.
You know what? There's some earrings in there I could sell.
You can bite your tongue.
Oh, so we're not doing that, huh?
Nope. I don't have nearly what you do.
No, you don't. And that's fair. You do not. But we'll sell yours first and see how much. See if we got enough money to go to Ireland.
Okay.
So what'd you think? Spooky? Would you want to go?
Absolutely. I've always wanted to go,
I
those will all.
I ain't even playing. I want to go.
I mean, you can take me on the top 10
I would
haunted
love to go
trails.
on a haunted tour in Ireland because it's so old and.
I want to go on a drinking tour in Ireland.
Really?
I think that's just Tuesday though in Ireland.
It is just Tuesday. Just Tuesday. I'm pretty sure it's just Tuesday.
I want to sit in an old pub in a small town.
That'd be fun.
Where some guys are playing tin whistle and a fiddle and maybe a guitar and a
bagpipe.
well, that's more Scotland.
I know that's more Scotland.
In Ireland, it's Hewlian pipes. They're you play them sitting down, seated and stuff. They don't really do the big martial.
Yeah, that's more the Scotland thing. You're right. I'm sorry.
But
that'd be fun though.
And just have a pinch and a pint. Sit there listening.
Bangers and mash.
That's England.
It's
Fish and chips.
Yeah, Ireland. Their food is like.
It's potatoes and cabbage.
Yeah, potatoes and cabbage.
That's why I guess I thought about bangers and mash because isn't that essentially what that is?
That's how my family got over
That's
here.
sausage,
was a potato blight.
and mashed potatoes.
That's what I was thinking that they had.
That's how my family got over here.
I know.
Was the
boat
yeah, that's but the potato blight or
potato famine.
Potato famine, yeah. And well, that's what's always been told is that
Toad.
Oh God, that's what's always been told to me that it was the potato famine, but it was probably you either go to the United States or you go to prison.
So parts of my family that came from Ireland were Lowland Scots who went to Ireland with.
Hooked up with some Irish girls.
with the British and took away some property from some Catholic Irish.
Yeah.
And then stayed there for about 100 years, just long enough to start calling themselves Irish until the English said, oh, you have to join the Anglican Church to be able to own property and you have to pay this rent tax and all this stuff. And they said, to hell with this. We're going to the New World.
Yeah.
And so they headed to America.
So you want to go?
Absolutely. I've been wanting to go.
What's your favorite Irish whiskey?
What day is it?
Today. What's your favorite?
Today, Jameson, but I'm about to hit up that Bushmills. I'm not going to lie. I'd like a little dram of that.
Mm-hmm. John, favorite Irish whiskey?
So are we talking about base juices by the 5 major distilleries?
If I were to tell you needed to sip an Irish whiskey tonight, what are you going to
sip it?
Yeah.
Is price an object?
No.
Oh, well, that's Redbreast 12 then.
Redbreast 12?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we didn't put that out here, did we?
Mm-mm. We don't have any.
Well, we didn't get Redbreast, did we?
Mm-mm. We don't have Redbreast.
We have all the
I'll tell you what
Lagavulins.
it's not. It's not Green Spot.
No.
That is my least favorite Irish whiskey.
No, my just regular old
It is
favorite.
not. It is not.
What's worse?
The one you gave away.
Bushmills is
proper
12.
Proper 12.
That doesn't really count.
That's swill. It's trash, garbage. I gave a bottle of proper 12 because I tried it, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is horrible!" And I gave it to a friend of mine, and I said, "Here, give this to your husband. He drinks anything." So,
if you're talking about the major producers, for me it's Tullamore.
Okay, that's good.
Slightly behind Tullamore is Powers, which is right up there with it.
I haven't had Powers.
Powers Gold Label. And
We've never tried his, have we?
Tullamore, Powers, Jameson. Bushmills.
Okay, Bushmill.
Talking about just their standard offering.
Oh, okay, standard offering.
So you got your Jameson, you've got your Powers Gold Label, you've got regular Tullamore Dew, and standard Bushmills.
Not peaky.
No, not piggy. So if I'm going to bring,
but if price no object, I'm gonna buy some.
Cheeks.
I'll get Redbreast because Redbreast.
I was going to say Redbreast. I've had it, and as I recall, it's very good. So it'd be Redbreast if I were picking one, and money was no object.
You've had it?
And yeah, We had it
Is that when we were out at
in
that
Frisco, I think.
when we were out and we didn't know how to pronounce Lefroy?
Yeah,
And we
for sure.
and we called him and asked him which one we
I still
should
don't know
get.
how to pronounce it. So yeah, it would probably be Redbreast, and then
I was thinking we had purchased them.
Jameson, but I hadn't had Power, so I don't know.
Powers Gold Label's good. Powers 3 Swallows is even better.
Is it? See, I gotta try that. I haven't tried those.
They have both at Total.
EH Powers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just Powers. The Powers Gold Label is reasonable. It's like $27.
What am I thinking of?
And then the
H.
3
Taylor.
Swallows, like the bottle that I had of it cost about, I got it at a reasonable price of 50 something, but normally it's pushing 60 most places you see it. But that's a really good one. Yeah. It's right up there with Redbreast. So,
And if I have a choice between Irish whiskey or
it comes in a tube. It's so fancy.
bourbon,
Oh, and Patty's is down there above Bushmills. I forgot about Patty's.
I don't know that one.
Patty's is below Jameson and above Bushmills.
John's got him. He's upstairs.
He's such a Irish whiskey
Hey, if
person.
money is, Patty's is your good out because it's like $18 a bottle. Even comes in a tube, like fancy.
Oh, wow.
It has a cork and everything. But it,
cork even, huh?
yeah, but
Jameson
it's
doesn't even
still
have a
better
cork.
than standard Bushmills.
James is just screw
Screw
top.
top.
No, none of the other.
It's like MD 2020.
Powers,
you know.
Powers
Mad
has a
dog.
cork. Patty's has a cork. That's about it. Yeah.
All right.
Powers has to have it because it comes made in county cork. So, you have to
So
put a cork in it.
obviously we like our Irish whiskeys, and we want to go visit all the places in Ireland. So that's all I got.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Put that on the list.
it's on the list. Ireland has been on my bucket list for a long time.
Oh yeah, no, we've talked about it doing an Ireland Scotland thing. Go buy you some Jameson Bushmills Prohibition recipe.
Erin go bra, bed me gram hundred two.
Whatever. Eric, I don't know what the second part he said.
99.
Until my last day. Good night, y'all.